I have special guest Heather Steele, owner, founder, and creator of Legacy Training International, with us to discuss life coaching and the life coaching industry and the possibilities for coaches. If you are someone who is either interested in being coached or is very much knowing that you have a calling to become a coach, you absolutely want to stop what you're doing and tune in for the next 30 minutes. In the Healing is Possible hot seat every week, we get hot. We get to the root of an issue, of a hot topic. And today it's about the coaching industry. So with that being said, Heather, welcome to the Healing is Possible hot seat.
Thank you, Rebecca. I am honored to be here.
I'm so grateful that you're here. And to everyone watching, this is very special for me today because Heather is my mentor. And for the past 15 years, she has trained me, she has supported me, and man, has she leaped me. So I'm really grateful to introduce her to all of you. Heather, please share with us why you decided to join me in the hot seat and what do you want people to know about you, about coaching?
Well, first of all, Rebecca, I want to congratulate you and I want to say how courageous you are to start a platform like this. This is something that hasn't been done before. It's a scary way to just launch yourself and have those guts and that courageous heart that you have and that you've always had to just put yourself out there. I will say that I have not necessarily done the same thing. So I thought, what better way to talk about Legacy Training International and the integrative holistic coaching work than coming on your program here.
I'm so excited for this and for people to meet you and to hear about Legacy Training. So why don't we start at the beginning? What is Legacy Training International?
Okay, so there's a lot of life coaching programs out there that are certifications, and Legacy is not exactly the same thing as that. What Legacy is a deep dive into immersion retreat training. And what that means is when you sign up to become a legacy coach or a legacy integrative holistic coach, you've actually signed up to take a deep dive into yourself first. So it's personal coaching 101 on you, because you can't really go there with your client until you've gone there yourself. The way we do that is through 4 immersion retreats in different parts of the country, where you spend 4 days with your team doing deep, heartfelt work and learning the curriculum called the 12 realizations. The 12 realizations are a step-by-step process to get your client to breakthrough. But again, as I said, you have to go there first. Another unique thing that Legacy Training offers is we have also other coaches besides me and other guest facilitators besides me that help you in designing your own personal practice. So you're not just doing, whatever I taught you. You're also getting ideas from other coaches like Rebecca, and you're also starting to define who you're going to be as a coach with your own individual message. So my tagline is love your life, live your legacy. And I really am true to heart on that. What I mean is I really want you to love your life. That's the deep dive, the deep work of you completing your past and you really finding out what your true voice is in the world. And then loving your legacy is everyone that you ever will come in contact with, and particularly your clients. You want to have a clear space in your own mind, body, and spirit for your clients, and you want to be well trained in a curriculum so that you're not just winging it from your personality. You actually have a structure to coach them past session 1 or 2. What I have is clients that have been with me for 25 years. Rebecca's got a pretty big following for the last 15. Most of the coaches that do this curriculum have a lifelong following of people that they have committed to for their life purpose and for their legacy. So it's a deep dive into coaching on a way you've probably never heard of it before.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off of what you're saying around the immersion retreats first. 4 days of not just understanding what you're learning, but literally integrating it into your body, into your beingness, into a brand new possibility of how you're living is where we start. And what I love about the structure of the curriculum is that it's not cookie cutter. The curriculum is the curriculum and it works every time, but you can design it in your own voice. And once you're a legacy coach, you're basically held to a standard of living the curriculum, which is very helpful when you're working with people in their lives and trying to navigate your own.
Yeah, Rebecca, I wanted to maybe add something from a facilitator standpoint. I know you've done this because you've facilitated with me, but when they come to Legacy One, my job as a facilitator is for them to have such a big breakthrough, such a big aha, that they think of life coaching as the most important job in the world. It is the biggest thing they will ever do. This is not a 300 credit hour teleclass or Zoom class that you pay a few bucks for and get a certification. This is a deep, profound dive into your life purpose work. So Legacy One retreat is about them going, whoa, I had no idea how much work I had to do on myself and how much I have to learn to be who I'm going to be in the world. That's Legacy One. Legacy Two and Legacy Three is more of a dive into the curriculum and also a connection with your team. My thought is, we do very small classes, by the way. We have everything from 6 to 12 classes a year, or pardon me, 6 to 12 participants a year in a class. We only do one legacy a year so far. So we're talking just 12 of the candidates get chosen at the very, very most. And with the pandemic, it's been even less. But what they do in Legacy Two and Legacy Three is they have a deep dive into curriculum as well as their team. Think about this. If you can coach your entire team in an authentic way in the curriculum as an expert, if you can enroll the support team and the leadership team and the other facilitators that you are truly authentic in the work that you're doing and good at it, if you can do that in the course of the program, you can go start a personal practice. If you have 12 clients a week, that's a personal practice. In addition to that, Legacy Three particularly, and then going into Legacy Four, is leadership training and spiritual training. I forgot to mention that we work with the client and we work with the students for how they best learn. Are they a kinesthetic learner? Are they a audio or visual learner? People learn in different ways. Are they a relationship learner? Do people need to fall down before they can get up? There's a lot of different ways people learn, and there's a lot of different ways that your client is going to understand you as a coach. And if you don't know how to be relatable to every single learning style, not to mention every place in the client's life that maybe they haven't grown themselves on a level that they aren't even aware of. It's called a blind zone. Maybe they're activating their entire relationship with their partner from age 16 and they're 40, right? Or maybe their sexuality is stuck at a certain age, or maybe their money is stuck at age 9, what they learned from their parents. All of that is learned in Legacy. What age is our client? What age am I? Where do I need to grow? Where does my client need to grow? And that curriculum, the 12 realizations, helps you stay on track. Because what I notice in coaching that's a pitfall is when your personality, which means your opinion, gets in the way of actually doing the curriculum, and you become triggered or you become too invested. This is one of my issues, is I get very, very invested in the students, and then I have to pull back and go, okay, let them go. But that's human, right? That's because you care. But that's actually not coaching. That's actually not coaching. Coaching is being a very clear and almost neutral, not apathetic, but neutral space for the client, and having a structured curriculum where the client finds their own realizations.
Yeah. And just again, to reiterate, the 4 retreats, it's a journey, 4-day retreats where you're working with your peers as a student, and there are leadership and support team members that are graduates that are out there in the world doing it, all in their own unique way, that you also get to work with. And the first half, Legacy 1 and 2, you really are the student. You're really learning how to live this curriculum yourself. And I think it's of such high integrity to have a program that gives the coaches a way to, again, navigate their personal lives while they're working with people, navigate as we're growing as coaches, because we are human as well. Just like Heather alluded to, okay, here's another layer of growth for me. I'm never going to be done living and learning this legacy curriculum. This is going to be my entire life. This curriculum got me through cancer while pregnant. This curriculum has helped me literally support hundreds of thousands of people as I promote it, as I practice it, teach it, and live it. And Legacy 3 and 4, you get to start practicing living it while you coach it. And again, you're learning how to navigate any learning style. There are ways that you can deliver this curriculum with your words verbally, with visual representation of what it is that you're teaching in groups, one-on-one. It's amazing. So if you're watching and you're thinking, wow, I would love to experience that as a client, or I would love to experience learning this, even if you're already a coach. Heather, I would love for you to talk next about why you say you train the world's best coaches. What if people are already coaches and they're interested? How would they know they're a good fit for legacy training?
Okay. I was challenged. Let me say something about the world's best coaches. I was challenged a few years ago uh, from a wonderful person in another seminar company to declare something huge. And you do that in personal development. You go to seminars and you make a contract and you declare like, I am a coach, or I'm a happily married woman, or I'm a millionaire. Like you make these declarations. I save animals, whatever it is. And I was, challenged about the legacy program to make a really strong statement. I was very uncomfortable with it because I don't really like the word best. One of the things that we talk about in legacy is you got to be your best, but that's not necessarily everybody's best. And there's not necessarily a better than, there's just what works for you and for the team and the community that you're in. So my declaration was, I coach the world's best coaches. And just 2 years ago, I realized that I had reached that level of coaching, that the clients that I had were truly the world's best coaches. I mean, there's no way I would coach with anybody else, meaning me as a client, not even training them. I'm still, I have the luxury and the honor of training these people, but they can train me, and they do actually. So the world's best coaches, what that means, first of all, is that you've made a promise to the world and to yourself to be your personal best. And that doesn't mean you're perfect, but every single day. Is it your best when you're in victim? Probably not. Is it your best when you're making someone else wrong? Probably not. Are you your best when you're not taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit? Probably not. So it's a declaration of that you are a coach out there in the world that not only is going to help other people, but you are standing for and working on practicing being your personal best. So that's one thing. The second thing is you stand for the world being the best it can be, that you don't lose sight of the possibility for the world, whether there's a pandemic or whether there's a social issue or whether there's a breakdown in leadership, whatever you see the world as, whatever your worldview is, you have made a promise as a life coach, as a legacy integrated holistic life coach, to be your personal best every day and practice that, but also to see the world at its best, to see love in every situation, to see a lesson in every situation. This is not something that always comes natural. In fact, it probably doesn't come natural. What comes natural, you hear this in traditional psychology, is flight or fight. You want to run away from the situation. You want to fight the situation. What is very much commitment-based work is seeing the world and people in your life as doing their best, as being their best, even when you have a personal preference that they should be another way. So that's the big picture as to why it's called the world's best coaches, world best and personal best. Now, getting down to the nooks and crannies of it, it's also the best curriculum I've ever seen. If somebody else comes up with a better curriculum, I'm super excited about it. So let me just tell you why I say that. I had done a lot of personal development seminars and a lot of personal development work in addition to a lot of education. And I had a lot of amazing coaches and people way more successful than me help me out with this curriculum. So the first thing is literally the best I've ever had in my life is coming to the table in this curriculum. And I was an adventurer. I was somebody who sought out every seminar, everything I could possibly learn. I am completely hooked on humanity, 100% excited about humans. I like how they think. I like how they don't think. I like how they feel. I like how they don't feel. I like how they get stuff done. I like how they rush and how they go too slow. I just like the whole thing about being alive and being here. And I was passionate about personal growth and development, as well as psychology and world religion and all that. So I bring all that to the table. But the way the curriculum works is, think about it. You start with a concept. That's a realization. A concept that takes the client into an inquiry, into a deep dive into themselves about what they really believe, how they really think, where they learned how they think, and what they really want, and what's possible for them outside of their religion, outside of the constructs of their life the way it is now. You get the client into the right brain, imagination, where possibility actually starts, that soulful spiritual space where you're connected to what everything is, what is out there for you, and you're calling in your mind. Your mind for me means your mind, body, spirit, not just your brain. You're calling in what makes me feel good, what makes me feel loved, what makes me feel most connected. And you start there with your client. That's called a realization. And you learn up to 8 of those in the first part of legacy training. Once you get into leadership, like Rebeccah is, you start to learn the rest of them all through 12. But in the first, you just learn 1 through 8, which will get you by. 1 through 4 will have you start a practice. So if you can get to 8, you're doing great. Then inside of that realization is a holistic tool. And this is where you address how your client learns. Am I going to help my client work through this realization, this dream, this way they're going to be in the world, their life purpose, not yours, theirs? Are you going to help them through audio, visual, kinesthetic, relationship exercises? How are you going to chunk it with them? Because you know what? The way our education system works and the way a lot of people work is that they sometimes don't understand a word, or they think that the word means something different than what you meant, or your way of being is triggering them because you're reminding them of their, mean uncle or something. You don't know with your client when you're landing it or not. You really don't. You have to learn how to communicate in a way where you're checking it out. You have to make sure that what you're saying and what you mean, they can feel your heart. You can't just assume that they get it. You can't. And by the way, you'll find out if they don't get it, because they don't come back, they don't tell people, and they don't go build a new life for themselves. That means you failed as a coach. It really does. If your client doesn't go grow and do something phenomenal, you aren't a very good coach yet. If they don't come back for like package after package after package, you're not a very good coach yet. That doesn't mean your heart isn't amazing. That doesn't mean you didn't go to the best school on the planet. That doesn't mean that you didn't do legacy even great. It just means that you still haven't practiced that incredible connection that we are capable of doing and being as humans, in seeing the love in that other person that you hopefully start to have for yourself as you grow through life, right? So love. It's all about love. You've heard that before, old news, but it's truly a practice. It's not like I love everybody, therefore I'm just sitting here. It's I love everybody. And here's how you know it's working. They feel loved. I love everyone, but if they don't feel loved, who cares? The work of becoming a legacy integrative holistic coach is that your clients not only feel loved by you, that's probably the least of it. They feel loved by their past. They feel loved by the people that harmed them the most. They feel loved by every single breakdown. They feel loved by the world that they used to see from a clouded view, from a darker view. They feel loved by the grocery store attendant. They feel loved by the person who just honked at them, and they feel loved by everyone they meet. They are embodying it on such a level, and they are clearing so quickly that there is just love and love and love and love. They become a generator of a higher vibration for the planet. That's what a legacy life coach is. That is very different. That we demand that. We push that. You have to be able to feel your own rage. You have to deal with every dark story you ever had. You have to bring out every secret. It is a calling to truly come forward and help and to love. And so going back to love, if your client doesn't understand what your intention is or what the work is, or you just have a chatty, let's have coffee conversation, I'm honestly going to say either get better at your job or get out of the business. This is partially why, and Rebeccah and I have had a lot of conversations, and so has Elaine Sloan Huey, who's also a legacy coach, and Lots of people have encouraged me. Andrew Me just talked to me the other day about getting on social media. I've been very reluctant to do that because I really understand that it's important that what I say is what I mean and that you can feel it. I don't know who's feeling it out there. You're not in my office. This is a problem with Zoom for me. I like kind of being with people. That's why I have 4 immersion retreats in Legacy. I like to get outside. I like to get on a horse. I like to get on a ropes course. I like to do a sweat lodge. I like to go on a hike. I like to get on a stage. I like the interaction of the integrative holistic coaching. To me, kinesthetic is just as important as audio visual, which is what we're doing now. So I'm not sure I answered your question, Rebecca, but did I get close? I forgot what it was now.
Well, I love it. I'm sitting here grinning ear to ear because I think what you're explaining so beautifully is that integrative holistic coaching and the legacy training program, it gives coaches a roadmap to help themselves and to help their clients not need life to be any different than it is or any different than it was. And when you're talking about clearing, I just want to explain my perspective of what that means. It means you're free. It means that the moment is what it is, and you've got access to possibility in the moment, and you're able to see and hear and decide very quickly who you're going to be without needing the situation to change. So if you're already a coach and you want to take your clients to the next level and your life to the next level, I recommend getting in touch with me or Heather to hear even more about this program. We're only scratching the surface in the hot seat today about what this program is. It's not advice giving. It's not the coach having to figure out how to tell the client what they need. We don't know. Legacy training teaches the coach how to follow the client and how to have the client access their own answers, or what I like to say is the client gets to become their own lifeline, and they get to become who they want to be now and design their life moving forward however they want to. It's truly remarkable, and I can't say enough about how magnificent this program is. Heather, is there anything else you want people to know about where Legacy Training International came from, or anything else about this program?
Well, I remembered the rest of your question while you were talking. So I guess one of the things I want to say, you're saying so many good things about it. And I guess what I want for anyone who's listening is maybe some tangibles as to what it is that we're actually doing in Legacy. So the first thing is I just want to review that it's actually 5 seminars. It happens within 6 months. This year, I think it's within 5 months. One of the seminars is online. There's weekly coaching, there's buddy coaching, and there's coaching with other coaches every week. So there's a curriculum of about 8 hours a week that you're doing as a student. In addition to that, you have 4 weekend retreats. They start Thursday at 4 and they end Sunday at noon. Those retreats are in Colorado, Wyoming, Sedona, Arizona, and California. The seminar this year only is $21,000 for the 5 seminars. And we also have scholarships. So anybody who's like wanting to do it but doesn't know how they would fund it, you can give me a call and I can see, if we can work something out. The reason we have scholarships is because we have over 100 coaches out there, with some of them that are in, really successful businesses that have offered to scholarship certain students that seem like they're going to be amazing coaches in the world. So that I'm excited about that. That actually just happened last year and is now going forward this year. So 4 retreats, in immersion retreats, like actual weekend seminars, Thursday through Sunday in different parts of the country. It is an international program, so we actually do have people flying in internationally. And then we have Zoom on the other retreat that I mentioned, the 5th one, and then actual ongoing coaching. Now, when I was talking about the realizations, this is where I interrupted myself. In remembering what Rebeccah asked. What Rebeccah asked was about, if you're already a life coach, how can you use this curriculum? So we do have some things this year that Rebeccah doesn't even know about that we're doing, and I kind of got talked into it. We have an apprentice program for people that are already coaches. So you can call me or email me at heather@heathersteele.com. My phone number is 303-941-9693. But you can get a hold of me if you're interested in apprenticing versus doing the full training. You'll still get part of the curriculum. You won't get the whole thing, but you'll get enough to really improve your practice. So I wanted to mention that. In addition to the realization and the holistic tool, you also get integration exercises. I would say one of the things that makes Legacy completely different than therapeutic practices, healing practices, is the homework that you give the client to integrate what they learned in the office into their life. The other distinction I want to make for those of you that have wonderful counselors and great therapists and other good coaches, I don't think there's any necessarily, healing is possible means healing is possible no matter what you're doing. So you don't have to do Legacy to heal, right? You don't have to come to Healing is Possible Facebook page to heal. Healing is possible, period. That's what Rebeccah is saying. It's possible. That means that no matter where you are in your life or who you're with, it's possible. You have the worst coach in the world, it's possible. You have the worst counselor in the world, it's possible. So, that's what she's saying here, right? What I'm trying to say is just a simple distinction. I don't want everybody in the world to do Legacy coaching. I want 12 of you a year to do Legacy coaching, or 8. With the pandemic, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards 8. That means qualified candidates that want to be the best life coaches in the world. You remember my distinction about best. But I want to make a distinction about therapy, and I want to make a distinction about counseling. I want to make a distinction about other life coaching. We untrain you in Legacy. Pema Chodron once said, she's a wonderful Buddhist monk. If you ever want to follow her, do. You'll heal just by reading one sentence that woman says. But she basically said, the problem with breakdowns is that we don't let go of them. If you had a breakdown, whether it's in a relationship or in any part of your life, and you let go, you would bring in a whole bunch of possibility really, really fast. What happens is you have a breakdown and you try to fix it, or you stay stuck in it, or you don't make the hard call that you have to make about the relationship you're in, or the money situation you're in, or you don't take a hard deep dive into yourself and realize that, gosh, I keep having the same breakdown over and over and over. I guess the common denominator here is me, right? The correction goes here, as Carol Reynolds used to say. That was an older coach, not old, she's passed, but that's a coach that Rebeccah and I both had. And we have a beautiful community that came from Carol Reynolds that both of us still are engaged with. But she used to always say, the correction goes here. I used to hear that because of my development at the time wasn't very evolved. I used to think correction goes here means I was wrong and I need to correct that I was wrong. It has now transformed into correction goes here means that I am out of alignment with my highest possibility, and that's why I had a breakdown. I am out of alignment with my highest calling. That's why I had a breakdown. Now look at the difference. If you have a breakdown, you go, correction goes here. What do? You jump into the breakdown, you try to fix it, you try to correct it, you spend all day trying to clean it up. It's like a hamster on a wheel. But if you go, oh, I had a breakdown because I'm out of alignment with what's possible and what I'm up to in the world, oh, no problem. Thanks for the heads up. So in Legacy, we're not looking for the problem. When I was in school for psychology and counseling, you're looking for a problem, you're diagnosing. You learn a bunch of modalities, whether it's family systems or transactional analysis or NLP. You find something that you're going to try with your client. And when you get really good, you find something and it works. That's awesome. It works. So do it. But that's not what you're learning in Legacy. We aren't looking for what might work. We're not using our coaching sessions as a laboratory. We're saying the realizations do work if you do them. Prove to me that they don't. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for somebody to show me how they don't work. So we're saying they do work, not like religion. They just work because they're about self-empowerment. It's about the client knowing thyself. It's about the client revealing themselves to themselves. It's about the client getting honest about the great possibility they really are. It's about the client getting that anytime their life is not working for them, it's because they are not working for them. They are working for some attachment. They are working for something they think they want outside of themselves. So Legacy training is about unlearning how to hit a goal. And it's about manifestation of who you actually are in this healed wholeness that you've always been and what's possible from that place. That's a lot of work in 5 months. That's a lot of work in 4 seminars. And that's a lot of work in a Zoom online coaching, seminar. And that's a lot of work with your buddies. And that's a lot of work with your team. And we do our best to get it out there in 5 months to you. And by the way, it's a lifetime practice, but it is outstanding and there is nothing else like it. And if anybody's interested in it, I would love to talk to you. And I really appreciate you, Rebeccah, for always enrolling for it, always, talking about it. I'm kind of an introvert. I don't actually like talking online. I am an introvert. The people that love me and care about me and that I've trained really pushed me. Rebeccah really pushed me to do this. And I am grateful, Rebeccah, because the work is not about my introvertedness. The work is about getting it to the people, because the work didn't just come from me. I get to be the facilitator of it, right? I get to be the writer of it in a certain way. The work came from every great teacher, every great religion, every great leader, and every great moment you've ever had in your life. The work was there, and it's still here for us now. And we teach you how to help your clients. We teach you how to have an amazing coaching practice, and you will be different. And by the way, I just have to say this. You will never see a legacy coach in a bathtub naked with a lot of money. I just saw that the other day. It was a coaching program, how to make money. I was like, okay, that won't be us.
Well, and a couple other things I want to say. I mean, legacy also gives coaches not just this amazing curriculum, but community. And we do heal and grow faster in community. And then once you're a legacy coach, you're a part of a community with other coaches where you've got access to people that can support each other and their businesses. And when Heather says she's had clients for 25 years, I've had clients for 15, we're not working on the same thing with that client on repeat. It's new. It's what's next. What's the next dream? What's the next goal? What's the next unlearning? What's the next opportunity for possibility and transformation? It's just incredible. And I want to share a quick story about my legacy one. Again, this is 4 seminars with what Heather's calling the 5th seminar, just being partner and online support in between seminars. And in my very first legacy one, I was part of the pilot program because I had a master's in counseling already. I was blessed to be introduced to Heather, and she said, "Hey, will you come and do this program and see how it compares?" I was already doing some coaching part-time to your master's in counseling, and man, was I blown away. And I've never looked back. I have been a proponent and an advocate talking about legacy to anybody who will listen ever since my first legacy, because I want you all to think about this and imagine this with me. I was already having a private practice and a trained therapist. And in my very first legacy one, so simply at a ranch in Wyoming, Heather just asked me to say the words, "I am a coach," out loud. And I couldn't say it. I was crying. I couldn't get the words out. I'm already coaching. I already have a background in counseling. And I had hit this emotional wall that had me speechless. And I wanted so much to make a difference. And so, very simply, Heather just asked me to close my eyes and say it. Close your eyes and just say it. I'm a coach. And I could barely get the words out. It was like a squeak. And the rest is history. The rest is history. Just declaring what's possible for yourself and then supporting your client in being heard, declaring what's possible for them, and using this curriculum on yourself and with your clients to make a difference is, in my opinion, the best job in the world. And it's unbelievable the miracles that can unfold. Heather, you've been a miracle to me. You saw possibility for me that I did not see for myself. You've been there every step of the way. I'm so grateful. And again, if you're feeling even just a little bit inspired to hear more about this program or to make the big investment, and yes, it's a big investment, but I mean, my practice has had a life of its own ever since I graduated from Legacy. I can barely keep up. And if you're someone that really wants to make a difference with people and help and coach, get on the phone with Heather or reach out to me and take this opportunity. You will get the time and what you invested financially back in spades. I am certain of it. If you give your all and if you really dive into living and delivering this curriculum. Heather, do you have any other final thoughts for us today?
Oh my goodness. Just, I want to segue off what you said. I think the reason you had trouble saying I'm a coach is when you do come to legacy, you realize that you got to go a lot deeper than you were going before. And even though it is a big investment, in some ways it's not, because it is 5 retreats. And so when you break it down, you're paying, per retreat, a pretty, it's all inclusive. I mean, you don't have any other expenses except the retreat. So it's literally 5 retreats, and you can divide 21 by 5. And in addition, we do have scholarships. And so I know money's kind of a really big deal for people, and it's a big deal for me as well. But I guess what's a bigger deal is being a good life coach. And I think the reason Rebeccah was hesitant is she just realized in that first legacy the amount of work that she was gonna need to do to get to where she is here today with you guys on Healing is Possible, to get through cancer. Cancer is a big deal, right? We lose a lot of people to cancer, and we could have lost Rebeccah to cancer, but whether we lost her or whether she kept going, she was alive and well through cancer. And we coached a lot through cancer, whether she was coherent of it or not. And so I welcome you to the community. I welcome you to help people. If this doesn't resonate with you, you will find something. But please, if you're going to go out there and help people, make sure that you are already in the work on a profound level yourself, and make sure you have a curriculum that makes some sense. Don't wing it. That would be my tip. Do not wing it. People are way too important, and they listen to you. They listen to their
Yeah.
coach. Any of you that played sports, you listen to your coach. Your coach may not be able to dribble like you can dribble, but you listen to what your coach sees. So if what you're seeing is just your opinion, clouded by your triggers, clouded by your own lack of personal growth work, you're not helping anybody. It's really important to get really solid in what you're doing out there in the world. So Rebeccah, thank you. I mean, I think we've said enough, but I really appreciate
Yeah.
your time.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. And, it brought tears to my eyes hearing you just talk about our journey together while I was sick. And the thing is, this curriculum, I will say to all of you watching, saved my life and continues to give me my life. And that's why I will talk about it as long as I'm here. And if, again, you're even this much interested, don't hesitate. You don't need to be qualified yet. The curriculum gives you everything you need. You don't have to figure anything out once you're trained in this curriculum, because you have a roadmap that beautifully allows you to support your life and your clients' lives. So Heather, thank you so much for being here. Legacy Training International. You can find Heather at heathersteele.com. It's Steele. And we hope to hear from you. Thanks, everyone.